Turn on the news and you hear the same message. The economy is strong, growth is solid, markets are booming. But step outside your door and the story feels very different. Rent is higher, food is expensive, savings disappear faster than they grow. So how can both be true at the same time? How can an economy be booming while ordinary people feel poorer than ever? Here is the cold truth. GDP is no longer a measure of national wealth. It is a measure of how fast money is moving between the government and the asset-owning class. And once you understand that, everything starts to make sense. On paper, the numbers look amazing. Stock markets hit new highs, corporate profits rise, unemployment stays low, politicians point to charts and declare victory. Yet most people feel stuck. Paychecks grow slowly, prices rise quickly. Owning a home feels impossible. This strange contradiction has a name: the Richcession, an economy that is technically healthy, but only for those who already own assets. For everyone else, it feels like a permanent recession. To understand the problem, we need to understand how the economy is measured. The main scorecard is GDP, gross domestic product, the total value of all goods and services produced. If GDP goes up, leaders say the economy is doing well, but GDP has a major flaw. It doesn't measure who gets the money. It only measures how much money moves. If rents double, GDP rises. If healthcare costs rise, GDP rises. If government debt spending explodes, GDP rises. None of that means people are actually better off. It just means more dollars changed hands. So we celebrate growth, even when life gets harder. Today, there are effectively two economies: the asset economy and the paycheck economy. In the asset economy, stocks rise, real estate rises, investment portfolios grow. In the paycheck economy, wages struggle to keep up, costs climb, debt replaces savings. If you own assets, the economy feels amazing. If you live on income alone, it feels brutal. Both experiences are real, but only one shows up on the official scoreboard. Over the last few decades, something fundamental changed. Growth stopped coming mainly from production and started coming from credit. Governments borrow more, corporations borrow more, consumers borrow more. That borrowed money pushes up spending, spending pushes up GDP, and GDP makes the economy look strong. But credit-fueled growth benefits asset owners far more than workers, because new money flows first into financial markets. Real estate, corporate profits. By the time it reaches ordinary people, prices have already risen. This is why the economy can boom on paper, while real living standards decline. Every time there is a crisis, governments and central banks step in. They cut interest rates, they inject stimulus, they create new money. This prevents total collapse, but it has a side effect. Asset prices rise faster than wages. Stocks recover quickly, home prices surge, billionaires get richer. Meanwhile, everyday costs quietly climb: food, rent, energy, education. The rescue saves the system, but it doesn't save most people. Even employment numbers can be misleading. Yes, many people have jobs, but what kind of jobs? More part-time work, more gig work, more temporary contracts. To low-paying jobs count as full employment, but they don't create financial security. So the statistics say strong labor market, while households feel squeezed. The numbers are not lying. They are just measuring the wrong thing. Inflation is the final piece of the puzzle. When new money enters the system, prices eventually rise, but wages rarely rise at the same speed. So even if you earn more dollars, you can afford less life. This is why many people feel like they're moving backward. Not because they're lazy, not because they made bad choices, but because the system quietly shifts value upward, from savers to asset owners, from workers to borrowers, from the many to the few. In a normal recession, everyone suffers together. In a Richcession, something different happens. The top experiences a boom. The middle experiences stagnation. The bottom experiences crisis. That is the modern economy. Growth without broad prosperity. Numbers without security. Progress without comfort. And because official data looks positive, leaders assume everything is fine, so nothing changes. If this pattern continues, society slowly transforms. Ownership becomes rare. Renting becomes permanent. Debt becomes normal. A generation grows up working harder, yet owning less. The economy does not collapse. It simply becomes heavier to live in. Stable on paper, fragile in reality. So when someone says, the economy is booming, the real question is, booming for who? GDP can rise, markets can soar, corporate profits can explode, and ordinary people can still feel broke. Because modern growth measures movement of money, not improvement of life. Understanding that difference changes everything. The economy may look strong, but strength that only helps a few is not prosperity. It is a mirage.